Hello everyone. So I'm going to be talking about impermanence again today, but talking about it in a slightly different way. So why is it that we are so fearful around impermanence, particularly um, the fear of our own death and the death of those that we love? Also the fear of losing our job, losing our relationships and so on. So we fight against impermanence and we try as much as we can to organise our lives so that we avoid impermanence, so that we keep things the same. But of course, we know it isn't possible to do that. It's not possible to keep things the same. But at the heart of our fears is the loss of ourself. And as we know, that is often described as clinging on to our ego. But what is this ego? It isn't like a thing. It's not a thing. It's not something that's sort of sitting on our shoulder telling us what to do or telling us what we want. It's something a lot deeper than that. So I want to kind of go into that bit. There's a very good verse that I can't remember her name, but an order member put to a little tune. Anyway, I'll do the first bit for you. Because I think tunes help us remember things, actually, remember words. So it goes like this. First conceiving an I, we cling to an ego. Then conceiving a mine, we cling to the material world. Like water in a water wheel, endlessly we circle. Like water in a water wheel, endlessly we circle. So that's the words. And they're very profound and very deep and worth unpacking. So first, conceiving an I. We cling to an ego. So we get a sense of self that becomes the centre of the world. And because of that, we believe that we have got to protect it. And that is really interesting because what happens as we grow up is we want approval and we don't like being criticised. And, well, we find it unbearable to be blamed for anything. And we want to succeed. We start comparing ourselves to other people. And we start measuring how we are against those other people. So all this is what you could call ego activity that we think will keep us safe, that will give us some kind of security. So it's a bit like we brick ourselves up behind this ego, we hide ourselves, and that means that we're very reluctant to show ourselves to other people. And that involves self-consciousness, for example, not wanting to make a fool of ourselves. So self-consciousness is about this sense of fragility that the ego has, that we can't bear to be found wanting in any way. And that's particularly painful, I think, as we're growing up, particularly in our teens and 20s perhaps. We really become very aware of how we look and how we're seen, and we try to project ourselves in a particular way. And this is all very strong ego activity. And what it does is it separates us from other people. So we don't go with the flow. We find that very difficult. And how this relates to impermanence, of course, is that, we try and create this world of security where people can't penetrate, where people can't really see what's going on with us. We lose the kind of naturalness or spontaneity of childhood. And well, all this would be fine if it wasn't so blooming painful to do that, because it means that it keeps us separated from other people. It means that in a way we spend our lives maybe putting on some kind of act of the person that we think we'd like to be, rather than the person that we are. And that is very painful, because it also not separates us just from other people, but it separates us from ourselves, from what we really are. We don't need that ego protection, but we don't realise that. You know, to be natural, to be spontaneous is very exposing. So it's quite complex, isn't it, when you start to unpack it? And what Buddhism does is it teaches us how to, well, it teaches us obviously a lot of things, but how to relax into a space where we can trust ourselves. So particularly I'm thinking now of the Metta Bhavana, which helps us turn towards who and what we really are, and to love that. You know, not to always be examining whether we're good enough or happy enough or attractive enough. You know, we learn how to really turn towards our direct experience, something that's more real than all the superficiality, you could say, of the world, of things we think we want, of ambition, of trying to be liked, and so on. I mean, obviously we've got to put this alongside getting along in the world. We've got to live, you know, we've got to work for our living and so on. But the more simple that we can make our life, the better. The more confidence we can have in ourselves, the better. And we can certainly do that through meditating. It might be that you've tried meditation. It might be that you've got a regular practice. If you haven't got a regular practice and you think to yourself, well, I've tried meditation, you know, I've used the apps on the internet and so on. Well, don't be satisfied with that. In order to really explore meditation, firstly, you have to develop a practice where you're prepared to do it every day. Not for ages necessarily, and certainly not at the start, but to make a regular practice so that you really apply yourself to meditation. And also, don't underestimate going on a course. You can't really learn to meditate from an app. It'll certainly be helpful, it'll be a good start. But if you do a course, if you book on a course, and you can book on them at the Norwich Buddhist Centre, you will learn how to turn towards your experience. You'll learn how to find techniques that can really help you develop the confidence and calm that you're looking for in your life. So we can all change. Everything is indeed impermanence. We can change, and we do change. But do you want to direct the way that that change happens? We change in that we're getting older. Hopefully we're getting a little bit more wise as well. But, you know what you want to be. Know who you want to be. And look at the best ways of moving towards that. So I think I'll leave it there for today. Bye for now.